wrap it up.
3008.
Yeah, because I want to say it's Thompson's 20th
And
of the year.
Forrest Devane, the director. Thank you.
Just about set to start the second half of football between the Tigers and the Indians. The Tigers leading this one 34-0.
Right, for Hand, it started out with 9:25 to go in the first quarter, just 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Billy Leckie caught a 4th down, 39-yard touchdown pass from David Thompson. Dennis Simmons added the extra point. Then Stu Leckie had a 7-yard run. Simmons again kicked the point. Ooh, that didn't take long. Tigers kicked off. It was a very short kick, and Hand, it looks like Timmy Winoski, number 91, may have recovered it. Yes, he did. And Hand has got the football. Hand's 3rd touchdown came, 8:22 to go in the second quarter. Matt Sullivan, a 9-yard pass from Thompson. Dennis Simmons added the kick. With 3:57 to go, Thompson had a 46-yard touchdown run. Simmons kicked to make it 28-0. And then with no time left on the clock, after Thompson scrambled for about 97 yards back and forth, finally threw the ball to Leckie, a 44-yard touchdown pass. The kick was blocked. It's 34-0, and that was David Thompson's 20th touchdown pass of the year.
1st and 10, Tigers from the 38. Stu Leckie, the ball carrier, slips a couple tackles inside the 30, finally taken out of bounds by Gianforti at the 25-yard line. And Chris Hevesy now in at quarterback for the Tigers.
And Pete Metz is in at tailback. Stu Leckie, who is playing his first game for Hand, is the starting fullback, is still in there, mainly, I think, to give him a chance to get a little bit of work. But other than that, the Tigers are playing a certain number of backup people right now, which is what we thought might happen after they scored their last touchdown at the end of the first half.
Metz, the ball carrier, big hole right side, tries to get a block from Leckie, and Metz carries the ball down to about the 15-yard line, and it appears to be enough for a Hand first down. Bob Duncanson now in there at tight end, Wiesbrock in at the flanker position. Thompson, Sullivan, Nye all on the sidelines right now. Hand comes out with the same line.
Going with the starting line again. Right, trying to get some work in for some of the starters up front there.
Hevesy on the dive to Leckie. He's hit hard right at about the line of scrimmage. May pick up a half a yard.
I think that unless Guilford makes a fairly large comeback here, that we're probably going to wind up seeing some reserves getting a chance to get some playing time and some experience. And I think we'll probably, for the most part, see the Tigers keep the ball on the ground.
2nd down, we'll call it 9. Hevesy will pitch to Metz, left side, cuts back nicely, and gets away from a couple tacklers and goes in for the touchdown. A 14-yard scamper from Peter Metz over the left side, and it's the Tigers now 40-0 over the Indians.
And both Bob Hughes and Rob Vibert were out throwing outstanding blocks about 10 to 12 yards downfield. Each of them got that far downfield to throw blocks, and that wound up opening up the hole for Peter Metz to score the TD.
Offensive line's done an excellent job here this morning of blocking for both Metz and Piggott and Leckie. Wiesbrock will now try the extra point, replacing Simmons. Sullivan, though, is in the hold, and Wiesbrock's kick is no good.
That one
no good.
The crossbar is like a double crossbar. One of them's about 8.5 to 9 feet high, and then the other one is the 10-foot high. That went between the 8.5-footer and the 10-footer. And I'll tell you what, I bet you if he aimed at that all day, he couldn't do that again.
So in the opening minute of play here in the 3rd quarter, the Tigers have struck quickly. It's now 40-0 Tigers. Last game for here at home for many of the Hand seniors, including Matt Sullivan and Bill Leckie, Timmy Nye, David Thompson, Rob Pegnataro, Kevin Piggott, Chris Bryce, Matt Morgan, although he is on the sidelines, Justin Murphy, Bob Hughes, co-captain Tony Ricciardi, and also Gary Beeson, their last home game here at Strong Field.
We have to assume that they're going to have another one, barring miracles for Guilford. But, the Tigers will have one more game, and they will be going to their 5th successive state title game and their 7th state title game in 9 years. And that is a heck of a record of consistency for the hand football program. That's a tribute to a lot of football players and to an outstanding coaching staff and to just great tradition of football here in Madison.
And they'll be looking to up their playoff record to 4-3.
Right, get it over that 500 mark.
Himes was the ball carrier on the kickoff. A lot of second and third effort from that young man, and got the ball up to about the 30-yard line. See a different quarterback in here now. That's Mike Napoli, number 10. And Himes, the ball carrier, he picks up 4. They'll call him down at the 34, I believe. And Guilford will retain possession. Mike Napoli, the quarterback, 5'6", 645 pounds.
Pete Fox recovered the fumble on that play, number 50. With Napoli in at quarterback, Don Bassi giving his younger kids also the opportunity to get some playing time. Seeing Larry Ciotti going to some substitutes, he's done the same thing.
And Napoli pitches out to Himes, and he'll get up close to a first down. Appears that he'll be just shy of the first down, almost to the 40-yard line, and a flag is down back at the 34.
I think we're probably going to get a procedure call against Guilford on this flag. No, we have a blocking below the waist call, which is going to go against Guilford, and it's going to negate the first down. Of course, we did get a piece of good news at halftime. Talked to Dr. Marty Sclair, who's the team physician for the Tigers, and he said that Kevin Piggott's injury is not a knee, as we thought it might be. It's a thigh bruise. I said Charlie Horse, and he said, please, not Charlie Horse, it's a contusion. So we'll go along with that, and we'll say that he has got a thigh contusion, and we probably will not see him again in the ball game, no matter what the circumstances.
And the Tigers will have 9 or 10 days in order for people like Piggott to recuperate before what appears to be a championship game, probably on a Saturday, a week
probably on Saturday
from this
afternoon, most likely at Yale Bowl, and definitely against Wilton. And Wilton has an assistant coach here who I talked to at halftime also, scouting. He said that he had never seen a better high school quarterback than David Thompson, and that includes Steve Young, whom he played against at Greenwich several times.
Napoli.
No, that wasn't Napoli.
Pitched the ball to Himes, right. He pitched the ball to Himes, and then Himes pulled up and threw it deep to number 84, Ray Santiago. So a big play for the Indians.
Ray Santiago is the younger brother of Hector Santiago, who is an all-shoreline linebacker and center for Guilford. So that football family tradition continues. But anyway, talking to the Wilton coach, he said that he had never seen a better high school quarterback than Thompson. And as I said, that did include Steve Young, who was a quarterback at Greenwich, and Wilton plays every year.
1st and 10, Guilford shows I.
Reverse to Ferraro.
And Ferraro carries the ball to about the 40-yard line of the Tigers.
Wynoski in on that play, along with Rob Vibbert, who's wearing number 67 now, rather than the 86 that he's worn a good portion of the season.
Hal, have you had a chance to see Wilton play? We know they're 9th ranked in the state, a couple notches behind the Tigers.
I went down and saw Wilton play against Darien a couple of weeks ago in a 6-0 game, and it's funny, Wilton is maybe the most boring 9-1 team you'll ever see. It's a wishbone ball club, which of course, as we know from experience, Hand has had a certain amount of trouble with. Some pretty good running backs, not a real big team. They've only got a couple of 200-pounders, but yet their offensive line averages over 200, mainly because of the presence of Stu Milberg, 6'6", 290 pounds. And he has got a little bit of quickness to go along with that size. He's just starting to get recruited right now. Some college people after him. I know I talked to Tom Jackson a couple of weeks ago up at the University of Connecticut, and Tom's eyes kind of lit up a little bit, and a smile came across his face, and he said, yes, he is coming up here for a visit.
Napoli pressured on the play by Simmons, forced to unload. It falls incomplete on the previous play. Himes, the ball carrier, had gone over left side for a couple yards. 4th down situation, a long 2 for the Indians.
Yeah, and at this point, I would have a tendency to think that Guilford's not even going to think about punting the ball. The Indians are going to go for it. Guilford just sent Brian Raymond, number 43, the split end, in with the play from the bench, and Mike Napoli's going to try to see if he can engineer a little bit of something here.
Kevin Hughes in at right defensive tackle for the Tigers. Himes, the ball carrier here. And he'll get forward to about the 38-yard line. Bob Duncanson dragged him down with an ankle tackle.
And the officials on the spot, I think he's going to be shy of the first down. They spotted it back about a yard or so from where Himes tried to stretch the ball out, and they are short, which will give Guilford the ball at the hand the ball rather at the 37-yard line.
Trotting onto the field for the Tigers, I see 62, Dave Millard, so he'll be in there at one of the guard positions, I believe. 74 in there. That's Kevin Hughes, I believe. So he'll be at left tackle. Hughes will be at left tackle.
And Justin Murphy now at center, number 66.
And they go with a split backfield. Hevesy fumbled a snap.
That's what happens sometimes. You know, you got a new center and a new quarterback in there, and they had a little bit of trouble with the exchange that time, either with getting the ball up or else with Hevesy pulling out too quickly. That's one of those things that normally, you know, you see worked on before the season starts, but you know, with some different people playing some different positions, you're going to see a little bit of that. And the same thing almost happened right there. Hevesy had trouble getting the ball. He just managed to get it up, and Lecky kind of bulls his way into the middle of the line for 4 or 5 yards. He is going to be a very, very fine running back, I think, Chris, as time goes on. Only a sophomore, and had a little bit of trouble with the academics early in the season, wasn't able to play, and finally now is getting a chance to play. And if he gets that straightened out, he can maybe make a real big contribution next year.
3rd down 5 for the Tigers. Hevesy pitches to Metz, cuts back inside, and 2 or 3 Guilford Indians there to bring down Peter Metz at the line of scrimmage.
Also see Dave Green, is another sophomore in there, getting a chance to play some offense, and he was supposed to have a block on the outside on that play and just got a piece of his man. Didn't quite do the job, and it didn't set up the play. I don't think that the Tigers wanted it. Thompson is in to do the punting here. I think this time Guilford might try to do a little bit better job of containing than the Indians did in the only hand punt of the first half, in which Thompson decided not to punt.
That is a low snap. Thompson waits, and he kicks it short, extremely high. It'll bound down at the 35, takes a Tiger bounce, now comes back a Guilford way, and it goes inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, where the Indians will take over.
And on that play, he got a little bit of pressure from number 60, Chris Raber, but that was not by any means a vintage David Thompson punt.
Vibert and Hevesy are the defensive ends. Kevin Hughes is a tackle. Sullivan in there at safety. Ferraro is the ball carrier, and he gets out over the 35 up to about the 36.5-yard line, and a nice pickup for Ferraro for the Indians.
He was holding that ball kind of loosely, almost the old loaf of bread trick, and I wondered if somebody might be going to try to ball tackle on that play, but that time Tigers did not try to do that. They just kind of went after the ball carrier and tried to take him down. Chris, I didn't, mean to demean Wilton when I said it was a boring team before. It's Wilton did not strike me in the ball game that I saw as a real big play team, but more as a grinded out kind of ball club that takes that 4, 5, 6, 8 yards at a crack, doesn't throw a whole lot, just runs the wishbone, and it's not an option wishbone. It's generally with a designated ball carrier. You don't have the triple option that the pure wishbone has.
They call that a power wishbone? Is that what they call it?
I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but it's usually with designated ball carrier. But it presents the same kinds of problems that Bunnell did early in the year for hand, and the same kinds of problems that East Catholic did in the state championship game last year. Defensively, of having to play all assignment football and having to do a real good job of maintaining the assignments.
And the wing reverse to Ferraro up to about the 40. Appears to have enough for an Indian first down.
Good defensive play there by Mike Ciotti, because guard was supposed to pull and take Mike out on that play, and Michael just kind of stood him up, stuffed him, and there wasn't really a hole to run to.
Funny how the there isn't a heck of a lot of wishbone teams, it doesn't seem, left, but yet the Tigers always seem to manage to have one either on the schedule or in the championship game.
Yeah, this will be the second one in a row going into a state title game.
Napoli hands off to Andy Reagan. He gets up for about 2 yards to the 42.
The other interesting thing is going to be to watch the Wilton defense, because the day I saw Wilton played a 5-2, but they played it almost like a college 5-2 with 4 secondary people. The cornerbacks were playing like 10 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Darien was not what you would call an outstanding passing team by any means. Not a bad short passing team, but certainly nothing deep. But that's going to present a little bit different look than maybe Dave Thompson is used to with a lot of 3 deep secondaries and zone defenses, to be seeing something with 4 deep people.
Napoli pitched to Himes. He got up to about the 45-yard line. Speaking defensively, as far as going defensively against the hand offense, as far as the Thompson passing situation goes, Foreign used a pretty good defense against the Tigers, dropping about 7 men deep most of the time, sometimes only rushing 3 men, 4 men. And they seem to have done the best job against Thompson, because most teams out of 5-man, 6-man lines can't put enough pressure on him anyway. And if they do, he scrambles loose, finds somebody open, and boom, just like what we saw in the first half.
Guilford with a different formation. They had no backs at all that time. They went into a shotgun with Napoli. He had trips to the right side. Ran 2 people deep, cut Ferraro underneath, and he hit Ferraro very nicely with a pass for a big gainer and a first down.
Up to the 31.
Indians starting to open things up a little bit here and going to the bag of tricks and trying to see if they can't put us at least 1 score on the board, avoid the shutout.
And most of that defense in there, the starting unit, 1 or 2 changes for the Tigers, but the Indians been moving the ball fairly well here in the 3rd quarter. Napoli, he'll pitch out to Himes, who's been the workhorse here, and he's dragged down. Nice defensive play from Wojnowski.
Good job by Timmy Wojnowski, because he had to make an open field tackle one-on-one against Himes, and he held his position and did a job. There is a flag on the far side, though, Chris, and we have a face mask call against the Tigers. So some of those penalties that were going Hand's way in the first half starting to go against Hand here in the second half, and the Indians are going to get an extra 15 yards. Penalty coming from just outside the 30, so they'll get the full distance on it, and they'll bring the ball right down to just outside the 15-yard line, which is by far Guilford's deepest penetration of the day.
To the 15-yard line, Guilford first down at that point.
Some other big games going on today, Cross at West Haven, Naugatuck and Sonia, as well as Derby and Shelton.
All right, that Cross-West Haven game is a very big one, because if Wilbur Cross wins, the Governors are going to be in the playoffs. Good for Himes. Mark Himes, 15 yards up the middle for the touchdown. I think the clock is saying like 1.5 minutes or so to go in the 3rd quarter. Himes runs 15 yards right up the middle for a touchdown.
Obviously, when the Tigers put in the scoreboard, they knew they weren't going to be playing too many games during the daytime, because we have been unable to read the scoreboard throughout most of this game because the sun is shining directly on it.
Yeah, that can be a little bit of a problem. Now we're coming over to the near hash mark to try the extra point, and this will be DeMeo, who is a left-footed kicker. Mark DeMeo, number 32. No, they're going with the fake.
It's a fake. Napoli could run it in if he wants, I think, but he can't. And
Fibbert was there.
Napoli waited too long, had the opening, may have been able to run it in if he had started his move to the end zone quicker. And Fibbert came up to make the tackle. Can't say enough about Fibbert. Opened up some nice holes on the offensive line, doing a nice job defensively also.
Yes, he is. He did exactly what he had to do on that play, which is contained to the outside. The Hand secondary also did a good job, because what Napoli wanted to do on that play was to stand up and throw right away. And he looked up, and everybody was covered.
Speaking of that Cross-West Haven game, as Guilford hasn't beaten Hand here in 10 years, maybe 11 now. Also, Cross hasn't won against West Haven in 12 years, and this is a chance for Cross to get into the L playoffs.
Right, if Cross wins, Cross goes to the L playoffs. Although, Cross hadn't beaten Hampton in 13 years. Cross beat Hampton 13-12. So Pete Barbarito doing a heck of a job with Wilbur Cross.
Guilford lines up here. At first, it looked like they were going to attempt an onside kick with 7 or 8 men on one side. Well, they'll do it anyway to the left side. Flags are down. Hand recovered the ball. Flags are down.
Guilford offside on the play, most likely. John Wiesbrock was over there and fell on the onside kick. Now, yes, the penalty is going against Guilford, which must have been an offside call. Yes, it was. Guilford offside. That may be the first time we've seen that on a kickoff all year, Chris, and we know we've seen some people being offside.
That's for sure.
I think that was Xavier's favorite play, wasn't it?
Definitely. Well, Tigers will put 9 men all within about 10 yards of the 45-yard line. Only Metz and Leckie are deep, standing at their 20-25.
Okay, now Santiago's going to do the kickoff.
They may look to drop it in here.
He may try to kind of punch it over that front line. No, he goes deep with it.
He goes deep. It'll be fielded by Metz at the 20, 25, 30. Big hole up the middle, 35, 40.
Went the wrong way.
And I think Santiago may have got him, or was that 64? Looked like 64 for the Indians. Made the tackle at about the 47-yard line.
Scott Tatata, number 64, on the hit. I think that maybe if Metz had zigged left when he zigged right, he might have had it, because that hole was there. That's one of the interesting things about putting 9 guys up that close, is that you can all of a sudden open up that hole, and if he can get to it quickly enough, he can turn that into a big play.
Hevesy, the QB, pitches to Metz, cuts back. Green takes on 2 men and dragged down for a loss on the play.
Green didn't do a bad job there, because he had guys on both sides, and he was trying to stretch out and get them, and they kept splitting further and further apart. Finally, somebody slipped off to make the play, but Green did a good job there.
Hal, I understand Stu Leckie is quite a quarterback also.
Yeah, I guess he can throw the ball pretty well as doing everything else. You got to figure out a position for him, whether he's a quarterback or a fullback or a tailback, and not a bad linebacker.
Very true. Pro set, Hevesy keeper, and up to the 45-yard line, still shy of the original line of scrimmage.
Reagan made the tackle on that. That's a David Thompson play that Hevesy just hasn't had the experience maybe on a varsity level to be able to run quite the way we've seen Thompson run it for 4 years.
So that'll do it here in the third quarter. Had 2 scores here in the third quarter. The score right now, it's the Hand Tigers 40 and the Guilford Indians 6.
The numbers are 3, 4, 1.
Pro set right now.
Tickets begin with 3, 4, 1. The 4 final
Metz and
numbers,
Leckie.
5,
Pitch goes to
9,
Metz, 40, 45, and taken out of bounds at the midfield stripe.
The first winner.
Over there on the Hidgey and 40 for the Indians.
Metz took out about 4 teammates on that play when he got out of bounds, too.
The second winning number.
Chris, we haven't gotten Rich yet.
5, 4, 5, 3.
We still haven't gotten Rich.
5, 4, 5, 3.
They decided to do something a little bit different today. The football boosters had a raffle sort of thing. You buy tickets, and then you wind up splitting the prize between the football club and the winning ticket numbers. Paul Nicholas is downstairs calling off numbers now, and you and I know, both got into this, hoping we wouldn't have to work next week or something.
Himes took the punt from Thompson to about the 19. Yeah, I'm digging right now for my tickets, Hal. Now, have you won?
No, I haven't won, and you haven't won either, because I know you bought yours just before I did, so I've been looking for your numbers, too.
341 6019.
Yeah.
That's 341 6019.
No, neither one of us.
Any of the 3 winning numbers.
I was only about 50 numbers away from winning.
Yes, you were.
Number 341 5922.
That's something North Branford does every home football game, and the football parents make a reasonable amount of money off it. They split the pot with whoever wins, and they would probably make themselves $700 or $800 over the course of a football season.
Napoli threw the ball out beautifully, caught by Santiago at about the 43-yard line.
Mike Napoli's shown us a pretty good arm so far here in the second half, and he'll be back next year. Have a tendency to guess that maybe he's going to wind up being moving into that quarterback spot for the Indians.
So an Indian first down, they send Ferraro split to the left. Napoli pitches to Himes, he fumbles the ball, picks it back up and covers it at the 36-yard line.
And Chris Hevesy is slow getting up here. He got kind of cut down on that play. He's walking a little bit gingerly right now, but he's not coming out.
Fourth quarter action, 46 Tigers, and they still have many of their first-teamers in there defensively. Some of the changes, Kevin Hughes is in there at right tackle. And also Wiesbrock, although he played quite a bit of the first half in at Rover. Napoli drops back, now comes up Hevesy. The quarterback sack at the 30-yard line.
I guess Chris wasn't hurt too badly. Did a nice job on that play. Came right in there, knife through, handing a little bit of a blitz on, and Hevesy was there.
Looks like 9 minutes and change to go in the ball game.
9:40, about 9:40 or so to go right now.
Pretty decent crowd on hand. A few of them starting to file out now.
Just a little bit. You're starting to see some people leave. Napoli had somebody open, but...
And Hevesy once again, this time back to the 20-yard line.
Chris Hevesy doing a good job. Napoli had Ray Santiago open, but he was rolling to his left, and he had to stop to square up. And when he started to slow down so that he could do that, Hevesy was right there to make the play. Good tackle for Chris Hevesy.
2 QB sacks in a row, something you don't see really that often by the same person anyway.
Right. Look out, Lawrence Taylor.
Mark Gastineau.
Chris didn't do the dance stuff.
No, he did a high five. He did the high five, though. Peter Metz dropping back along with Bob Duncanson standing at their own 45. And once again off the right side of his foot. Gallo, and it hits an Indian player in the back.
That hit Santiago in the back, and that should have made the ball dead right there, although Metz went over and tried to pick the ball up, which was not the greatest thing in the world to do.
They're going to spot it at about the Indian 48-yard line where the Tigers will take over.
That's where the ball hit Santiago.
Now they move it up to about the 49. The Tigers have not put the ball in the air, I don't believe. Have they here in the second half?
I don't recall a single pass in the second half, which that's, you know, what we've sort of come to expect from Larry Ciotti over the years. He's not the kind of person who rubs it in, which is why I was a little surprised that he was throwing at the end of the first half. But now we see the reason for it is because David Thompson has not, aside from punting, has not been in the ballgame in the second half at all. It gives Chris Hevesy a full half to work.
And Thompson will end up with 20 regular season touchdowns then on the year, completing 2 TD passes to Leckie, one at 39 and one at 44 in the first half, and then also a 9-yard pass to Matt Sullivan.
Thompson also ran for 46 for a touchdown. Stu Leckie got his first varsity touchdown on a 7-yard run. And here in the second half, Peter Metz has a 14-yard TD run.
And Stu Leckie, the ball carrier, up close to the 45. And it's not that often that you have brothers scoring touchdowns in the same game.
Right, right. That's kind of a rarity. And they had the first 2 touchdowns, as a matter of fact. Billy Leckie getting the first on that 4th down pass play. And then Stu Leckie on a 7-yard run with the second-hand touchdown.
Once again, Tigers showing a split backfield. Hevesy fakes, keeps it himself, and picks up about 1 inside the 45 to about the 44.
Guilford's co-captain, John Renko, number 86, was the guy who stuffed that play. He just stayed right with him. He had his responsibility to take the quarterback, and he did it.
Tigers send in Thompson to do the punting. Dropping deep, some new faces for the Indians. Number 44, Brian Bonnell. Also dropping deep, number 36, Joe Armatrano. And it's fielded at about the 5, up forward to about the 8-yard line is Bunnell, where the Indians will take over.
That wasn't a vintage Thompson punt either by any means. He had all day to do it, and it wound up being a 39-yard kick, but it wasn't, you know, your big high hang time type punt.
In this morning's chants, they are Paul Williams from Madison, Kevin King from Niantic, and humble Ed Bartels from Madison.
Well, Ed Bartels, who has had a few sons play sports here,
yeah,
one of the winners of...
I think he's put his share of money into the football clubs, and then
one
now
of the
he's
raffles.
getting some back.
And Napoli, not sure who the ball carrier handed off to. Himes did most of the ball carrying here in the second half. Yes, it was.
He did it again on that play. Guilford going with some variety.
Bob Duncanson and Stu Leckie combined.
See some clean uniforms among the offensive linemen. It's always a key. Along about this time of the ballgame, you see clean uniforms, you know somebody new's coming into the game. What happened with Guilford was the Indians have broken out new uniforms for this game. They have new jerseys. They got them at the beginning of the year, but they just hadn't used them at all. And Don Bassi decided that, as Larry Ciotti did, to dress his freshmen. And Don dressed 20 freshmen for the ball game, and he said the old jerseys, he didn't have 60 uniforms. And now he does, and so that's why they brought the new jerseys out. As a result, we have a whole bunch of new uniform numbers to worry about here. And he did dress 58 players for this game.
Napoli completed a slant pattern, a number 81 for the Indians, who I don't have on my roster, so I'm not sure who 81 may be with all the number changes. Minichino had 81, but
had 81, but we were told that was a different number now. So
and he's also a linebacker. So whoever 81 is, once again, pass is intended for him at the 30 and falls incomplete.
Intended for Waltz.
Oh, no, he's saying that it's Waltz, who we were told wasn't going to play at all.
Alan Waltz. Well, they gave us number 83 for him. He's got 81, 5'10", 160-pound split end. Waltz is now tight to the left side. Two receivers to the right. And Himes, he'll throw it again, looking for Ferraro.
Picked off.
And it's picked off by Bob Duncanson, and Ferraro takes him down at the 36-yard line. Going to the well once too often with that play, I guess.
Yeah, the halfback option pass worked real well last time with Himes throwing to Ferraro. This time he was looking for him, and Ferraro was double teamed, and the ball was just a little bit behind him, and Duncanson was right there to make the pick.
See some changes now once again for the Tigers offensively, as Joey Rubler, number 28, now in the backfield.
Remaining. And kicks over, 1st and 10 at the Guilford 36.
Leckie straight up the middle, breaks a couple tackles. He may go all the way.
He's gone, and
he may go all the way. Stewie Leckie on a 36-yard run has increased the Tiger lead now to 46-6. So the brother combination have 2 touchdowns apiece. Billy Leckie on a 39 and 44-yard pass completion from David Thompson, and now Stu Leckie on a 7 and now a 36-yard run.
That was a nice run there because he looked like he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden he bounced it to the outside, and there wasn't anybody there because Guilford was caught in a blitz, and just kept a little bit of drive going, and all of a sudden, bingo, there he was. He showed some real good foot speed when he got to the outside. We know Billy Leckie has good foot speed. Now I think we see that Stu Leckie has some speed of his own.
High snap put down nicely by Sullivan, and Wiesbrock drills it through. Hal, once again, line drive kick. This time it cleared the crossbar by about a foot or two.
Yeah.
And so now with, we're not sure how much time left, but not much more than
looks like about 4.5
minutes to go here in the ball game. It's now the Tigers 47 and the Indians 6.
Once again, Matt Sullivan shows his value. He does a little bit of everything. That time he went up like a center fielder, came down with the ball, got it down, good hands, got the spot down, and gave Wiesbrock the chance to make the kick. I wonder if there's anything that he can't do on a football field, Matt. season either.
No, it may even be a shortstop, a good shortstop also. May play shortstop this year for the Tigers. He was an all-shoreline.
Yes, he was. He hit about 430 last year.
Led the shoreline in batting, did Sullivan. Wiesbrock's kick. And it comes down at the 20, 25, 30. And Hevesy with the tackle at the 32. Cagliari. James, 5'11", 165-pounder.
Guilford will start first and 10 from its
Pete Shaler now in the ball game, number 54 for the Tigers.
With 4 minutes and 15 seconds
replacing Justin Murphy.
And Cagliari is now in a quarterback. This is the third different Guilford quarterback.
And Jim Shepard, number 37, is the ball carrier, 5'7", 155-pounder. Joey Rubler checks in defensively. And the Tigers also showing a left tackle, number 70, who's not on the roster, although looks like freshman Mark Shepak. And a slant pass once again, that's Waltz. And he's up just about a yard shy of a first down, bring up third down for the Indians.
Cagliari's pass is complete to Alan Waltz.
Cagliari, a junior, 5'11", 165 pounds, finally getting his chance. Mike Napoli certainly showed what he could do here in the second half. Throwing the ball well, leading Guilford to its only touchdown of the ball game.
And Cagliari slips down.
Another new number in there, number 74 for Hand was in on that play. I'm not sure who that is because he's not listed either.
Kevin Hughes is number 74.
Okay.
We've wrestled with that one a couple times this season, but it is definitely Kevin Hughes. Also now Dave Millard, 62, in at a linebacking position. Guilford will line up in a punt formation here. And to do the punting is number 9, Peter O'Connell. It's fielded by Duncanson, slips a tackle, and then he's taken down by number 41 for the Indians, who also we do not have, at least I don't have on my roster.
No,
now.
I don't have him listed either, which is probably another one of the 20 freshmen or so that Don Bassi dressed and assured us wouldn't get into the lineup. I talked to Don yesterday to try to get some of the uniform numbers, and he said, well, we're just going to kind of hand out the freshman jerseys randomly. We're not sure who's going to have what number yet.
So they weren't going to write down what numbers each of the freshmen had, so there was no way of giving us the numbers. Fumbled snap by Hevesy is recovered. Simmons also in there now at fullback, as we see number 16, Drew Fiorentino, entering the ball game. Drew has a brother on the freshman team, Michael. As a matter of fact, the Hand freshman last Friday night beat the Guilford Indians 12-0 here, and they ended their season at 4-4. 34 freshmen, the largest freshman team ever for the Tigers. 21 of them are dressed here today. Joey Rubler, the ball carrier, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Many of the freshmen would have dressed, but many of them went away for the Thanksgiving holidays. But 21 dressed for today's game, and so far one, Mark Shepak, has played at tackle.
That's great to have that many freshmen sticking with the program the entire season, and that speaks well for the Tigers for the next couple of years.
Hevesy pitches the ball to Rubler, gets through a couple tackles, and he's hit pretty hard by a couple of Guilford Indians and bring up a fourth down situation for the Tigers.
At 135 pounds, Joey Rubler just kind of gets outweighed by a few people that he's going against. He showed some determination, though, pulled away from the first man, and then finally got met head on by a couple of other people. We're down to around 3.5 minutes, I think, to go. It's sort of hard to tell again from the scoreboard what the time is. I can see the last two numbers are in the is 27-26, but I'm not sure what the first number is, just how many minutes are left.
And the ball carrier once again is Rubler.
Woodrow again, the ball carrier.
And that was on a 4th down play, which gives Guilford the opportunity to take the ball over in hand territory.
And the first down, Guilford will take over.
The Indians will have the ball at the hand 38-yard line with, not a whole lot of time left to go. Oh, now we're seeing that there are no minutes left on the timer, which means that we're down into the final minute of the ball game here.
Scott Duncanson in at one of the safety positions, and
Bob Duncanson on the other side.
So we got
now Guilford running 4 receivers, 3 receivers left, and that's the end of the ball game.
Well, this one ends with the Tigers winning convincingly 47-6 over the Guilford Indians. Tigers regular season record ups to 9-1. Indians dropped to 5-5, although they can't be too disappointed with the year that they had.
No, not really. Not a bad year for first-year head coach Don Bassi. He's got to be a little disappointed with a couple of the losses, but at the same time, the Indians were very competitive for most of the season. First 2 games weren't real good, and of course this one here was by far the most points that Guilford has given up in any single game this year. It gives the Tigers their 5th successive trip to the state playoffs, and we'll hopefully be doing that one, and hopefully it'll be from Yale Bowl, which is obviously going to be a big thrill for the hand football players, a chance to get onto the historic turf at Yale Bowl and to play against a very, very good Wilton team, which has done everything it was supposed to down in Fairfield County. Playing, as a matter of fact, Wilton playing for the FCAC overall championship this morning against Stanford Catholic at Boyle Stadium down in Stanford. Wilton won the Western title and Stanford Catholic the Eastern title down there. Recapping the scoring really quickly here, Tigers got on the board very quickly in the first half, only 3.5 minutes into the half. Billy Leckie took a 39-yard pass from David Thompson. Dennis Simmons with the kick, 7-0 hand. With 2:52 to go, Stu Leckie, playing in his first ball game, scored on a 7-yard run. Simmons added the kick, and it was 14-0. Third time Hand got the ball. Tigers scored again, 8:22 to go in the half. Matt Sullivan took a 9-yard pass from Thompson. That ended an 85-yard drive. Simmons added the kick, and it was 21-0. Then with 3:57 to go in the half, David Thompson got a couple of nice blocks, cut a run up, 46 yards, touchdown. Simmons kicked, 28-0. And then with basically no time left on the clock, Thompson scrambled all over the field. He had several tacklers had 2 and 3 shots at him, and finally he found Billy Leckie wide open with nobody near him. 44-yard touchdown pass. That ended the scoring in the first half as the kick was blocked. Then in the second half, Tigers scored with 10:28 to go. They had a short kickoff, which Hand recovered, moved it right downfield behind the quarterbacking of Chris Hevesy. Peter Metz on a 14-yard run. The kick was low, and it was 40-0. Finally, with 1:51 to go in the third quarter, Guilford got onto the scoreboard on a 15-yard run by Himes. 2-point conversion try failed on a fake kick. That made it 40-6. And then finally in the fourth quarter, Stu Leckie broke a 36-yarder. John Wiesbrock added the kick, and that took care of the scoring at 47-0.
Well, the Tigers, with an overall good showing, have to be extremely pleased going into now the championship game. Look for that game to be aired here on Community TV on probably Monday night, December the 3rd. A game tentatively probably scheduled for Saturday afternoon at Yale Bowl, December the 1st, as Hal mentioned, against Wilton, the 9th-ranked team in the state. The Tigers, of course, coming into this game as the 7th-ranked team in the state. Some bright spots, though, for the Tigers, besides your normal David Thompsons and Billy Leckies and stuff, would have to be the added addition of fullback Stu Leckie. And also some very nice play from a couple of men like Chris Hevesy, a couple quarterback sacks at defensive end, and also can't say enough about Robbie Vibbert.
Rob Vibbert did a very, very nice job of blocking. I know Larry was a little bit worried coming into the ball game as to how well he would know assignments, just simply because he hadn't been there all year long. Had to get pressed into service as an offensive lineman after being converted from an end and a defensive player. Certainly did a very, very good job of holding his own through some good blocks. Obviously has great quickness as a guard, can do a very good job pulling, and he was getting into holes and leading that off-tackle play, turning it 8-10 yards upfield before he had to throw a block. And when he had to throw the block, he did it well.
So the Tigers will have about 9...
Hand Tiger football games are brought to you by